You know, some streamers have a rule that they will try to talk every like 5 to 10 seconds so there's no dead air. And I don't even think about that. I don't even think about that. I just talk. I don't need those things. In fact, you know what else other streamers can hope to imagine, like experiencing? Have I ever told you guys about my con experiences when I used to go to anime conventions? No, I didn't get in trouble for talking in class. I did not. No, it is a Twitch streamer thing. It's not just Germa. No, it is not just Germa. Stop saying that. I'm trying to put myself in different categories here. If I say like, oh, like, I do this and, you know, who does it, Germa? And, you know, the guy that retired, you guys said is in hell? Oh, that guy. No, yeah, well, people said he's in hell. I don't know. So like in anime conventions, this is Anime North, by the way. So it's the biggest convention in Ontario or in Canada. I mean, maybe not in Canada. I think maybe the one in Montreal may be a bit bigger, but it's very big. It's very big, basically. I would go to this convention very often when I was like 17 to 21, right? What they used to do at these anime conventions, I don't want to pause. I do not want to pause to do this, but I may have to for telling the story because it's been a while. 17 is, well, whatever. It's late teens. Sorry, late teens, early young adult, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. Let me explain something to you. At anime conventions, they run a very weird late night thing usually, right? They usually run a very weird set of panels. That's the word I'm looking for. They run a lot of weird panels. If you've been to anime conventions in the past, you totally understand what I'm talking about. Yes, it's the 18 plus panels, and it's all stuff at night. One of my friends really wanted to go to see the poorly dubbed hentai, basically. Which, by the way, this is before I dubbed my own hentai, so there's no correlation here. So don't even think it involves me. I dubbed hentai much later, but that's besides the point. So what happened was my friend really wanted to go, and it's like it was 24 hours or something. It was something bizarre like that. It was a 24-hour after hours bad hentai dubs screening. There were like nobody else. It was nobody else there. It was like my friend, me, and like 5 to 6 other people. It's like 1 a.m. Somebody was trying to hand out senzu beans. They were dressed as Goku, and they were giving out these random things, and they were like, does anyone want a senzu bean? So I was like, this is already very weird. I'm not going to participate in this. I was just like, I'll be here for my friend. If he needs me, you know, I'm here. When he wants to leave, I'm out of here, right? That's the kind of vibe I was at, because this was not for me. I did not care whatsoever about bad and hentai dubs at 1 a.m. at night after I'd walked around all day in cosplay, which, by the way, I was melting. We stay for like 45 minutes, and my friend's super into it. Like, he's shit-faced drunk, and he's like laughing at everything. I'm not laughing at anything. I'm just there, and I'm just like, I cannot wait for this to be over. I cannot wait. And Goku comes by like 3 times offering senzus. I'm like, no. And my friend had 2. He willingly took 2 of them. I was like, I don't know if that was a good idea. My friend took 2 of those senzu beans, and he didn't even know what they were. He was just like, I'll take them. He was fine. No, he didn't really say there was anything wrong after, for what it's worth. But I was like, maybe like this is already like there's Goku handing out mysterious senzu beans at the bad hentai dub showing at 1 a.m. I had just turned 18. My survival instincts were definitely much stronger than his. After like 30 to 40 minutes, everybody else has left except for 2 people, and I'm not joking. They started having sex in the same spot we're at, and it's, by the way, me with a guy that is like, I don't know how to describe him, but he is very into like just general anime vibes, right? Like he's there purely for the anime. Like he wants to laugh out of this and he wants to go. And I'm just, like I said, I'm there for the ride. He's still laughing at this hentai. No, it wasn't an orgy. Well, no, it was just two guys. It was like two people fucking. I don't even know what their gender was, but they were doing something. They were doing something. I don't know what it was. They were like 3 or 4 rows of chairs in front of me, and there's like no security, by the way. I was like, okay. Eventually, it gets to the point where like, and I really want to stress to you guys, I'm an 18-year-old lady here, right? I'm 18 years old. My friend is 100% into watching this anime porn, and eventually it gets to the point where I realize that there are people having sex in the same room as us. And on one hand, it activated that part of my brain that I'm like, this is one of the most bizarre parts of that has ever happened to me. But it weirded me out to intrigue me enough to where I'm like, wait a second. This is actually happening, right? I'm intrigued. And I must have stared at these two people fucking for 2 to 3 minutes straight. Like I was just dead locked on watching them the entire time. And my friend eventually notices and he's like, what are you watching? And he sees it and he's like, what? What's happening here? And I'm like, I'm not joking. I lean over to him like, I think they're having sex. And I knew they were having sex, but I just couldn't, I don't know, maybe it was the ADHD, Maybe it was the ADHD. Maybe, I learned something about myself that day. How are you the only one noticing 2 dudes going hole for hole? That's what I don't get. I've asked my friend this since then. His name is Norris. I've asked my friend this. He told me he was so shit-faced drunk and so locked in, and there was like nobody else there at that point. Like if there was someone else there, they were asleep. And so that means that anyone like aware and alive, I must have been the only two, like if I was the only person in this room that must have been sober, I think. That's it. Everyone else was drunk, very out of it, and like was basically just there to chill, like to kill time and not pay attention to anything going on around them, but just have background noise. And they may have been thinking that the background noise may have been sex, but I swear to God, I was the only one that noticed this. Right? I was the only one that noticed this. My friend didn't even notice until I pointed it out to him. And then he started freaking out. Like, he's like, should I get security? he's actually like, should I get security? Do I need to go get someone? And I was like, I think we should just leave. I think that would be the wise thing to do. Like, I think if there's a time for us to abandon ship, it's now. Because like at this point, the novelty of having people randomly have sex in front of me has worn off. And when you talk about people having sex in front of you, there's a novelty to it, right? There's a novelty to it. You're like, people are right? They're there. But then 2 to 3 minutes in of staring directly at them like a fish, like, like the fisheye shots. You're a pervert. No, I have ADHD. It's just ADHD. I have a problem. Let me explain what my problem is. There's 3 steps to my brain, right? I will notice something weird, right? I'll notice something weird. Number 1, I will lock on and start thinking about it. And then it will be funny to me or interest me. And I will be like, I'll just keep thinking about it. As opposed to being like, oh, I'm repulsed. I need to leave. Right? You get what I'm saying? So what happened was, at 18 years old, this wasn't my first anime convention, but this was like, it was my biggest at the time. And 2 people were just fucking right in front of me. I was the only sober person there. I felt like, I don't know how to describe it other than, do you know the Assassin's Creed thing where they have like what is it? The animus system or whatever, the animus system. I feel like I went into that. I felt like I was the only person from the modern age that went back in time to see it. I see, yeah, that's how it felt. I did use eagle vision. And then after like 2 minutes of staring at this, like, is this real? Like, does this actually just happen out there in the wild? I desynchronized from the animus system and we left. So when I think of like, you know how a lot of people think of like awkward times when they were a teen? The only time someone that has gone to an anime convention has gotten that got laid? Oh, buddy, you don't even want to know. You don't want to know about what was going on at these anime conventions. Let me tell you something. There is a bathroom in the Anime North hotel, the main hotel that I would use, the conference center, one of the main conference centers, that was directly correlated with it being used as a glory hole during the con weekend. Extremely well known, and to the point where in the future, this place became a place where people that were just like, either they were dudes that were like, oh, it's so funny being gay or whatever, like that sort of archetype of dude, and then actual gay dudes would go to this and hang out and meet there, like to be like, meet me in the glory hole bathroom. They would actually say that. I'm not joking. I know anime cons for 2 reasons. It is for people who can to cosplay, to make money, and for people to have sex. That is basically the 2 windows. That's it. That's how I know anime cons. Like, you know, like they watch Scrubs and they're like, this is funny. Let's do this with every guy I know. Sure, have you heard a story of the Tokyo Mew Mew cosplayer team giving people cocaine? I've not, but there's a lot of bizarre anime convention stories. I don't even know if I want to tell you guys all of them. Like, I would say I was not a rowdy kid, like as a teenager to young adult, but buddy, looking back, I feel like I went through a war zone, you know? It was bizarre over there. That is my anime convention story. And yeah, I also punched a Nazi at Unpopular Opinions as well, dressed as Sonico. I had double D padded boobs, a double D padded push-up bra, and I punched a guy kind of poorly, like here, like this, which, to be honest, I know now is a bad punch form, but it worked. Thank you. And I didn't even know about, you know, like I didn't even know about, like, I really didn't know politics back then. Kind of hard to swing your arm with the titties. Yeah, they were big. Trust me. You're so brave for making it through. Which part? People having sex at bad anime dubs? Both. I mean, to be honest, like, kind of in the moment, I felt like a little, like, rattled. Do you know what I know? Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt like a little rattled in the way of like, oh, I just like had a lot of adrenaline and I'm not used to like trying to punch people. Like, this was really weird for me. But now I look back and I love it. It's actually one of my favorite stories from that era, because I don't know if you guys know what Super Sonico looks like. And I was using her regular outfit, which is basically like short shorts, a top, a jacket, and headphones, right? Let's see if I can find a photo of it. Yeah, she's got big ones. Like the kind that people make those old like Soul Calibur edits for. You know what I mean? They'd put her on the list of the big BAP on Soul Calibur wiki, and then they would say she got the big one. That's the level of what we're talking about here. I am trying to find something TOS. Let's just say a Sonico costume is not what I would do at my age now. There's just so much porn. It's so much. There's so much porn. She's like naked with like chocolate over her and shit. Like, I just where's the parka? I just want the parka outfit. Ah, here we go. I know it's a Nitro Plus design. I'm not arguing it. I know exactly. I'm just trying to find something. This is kind of close to what it used to be. I did not realize that she's actually a VTuber now, which is fascinating to me. Okay, Here we go. No, it's not. Well, I guess in a way it is searching up porn, because trust me, 90% of this character is porn. Like, I'm not joking. This is Sonico. This is Sonico. I punched a Nazi wearing this outfit with, like, and this is when I was 18. Or no, maybe I was 19. Maybe this was 2015. I think it was 2015. I had, like, a massive, like, 42 DDD bra, padded to shit. And that is the first time I threw a punch at somebody. I like the shirt. The shirt design is great, for sure. I like parkas too. Well, that was long-winded. I know I just did the thing of pauses for 30 minutes, but we're back. What was I doing? I've already explained it, but I guess I didn't realize a lot of you hadn't heard it. For context to that, since we're already talking about it, there was a thing at conventions that they loved to do. Also an after dark thing. So at Unpopular Opinions, people will just say things purely just to get like a reaction out of people that is just straight up nonsensical. Like, you will hear some takes from Unpopular Opinions, which some are like actually like unpopular opinions that are like, it's like Naruto sucks or whatever, right? And then like it'll crowd you like, yeah Naruto, yeah, fuck filler. But then there's ones where people like, I don't know, they go too hard. Definitely somebody went up there and was basically like, I want to reiterate that gay rights in Canada had a very different process than American politics for it, because in Canada, gay marriage was actually federally legal here in like 2002 or something. Like something like much earlier than America. In Ontario it was like 99 or something. Like much longer. And this is right after America was like really going through a lot of like, you know, the aftermath of gay marriage basically being legalized. So I think this kid like just saw like some random like political video and was probably like from kind of a bigoted family. I mean, they were an anime gamer, so you already know there's something going on under the hood there, so to speak. He pretty much said like his unpopular opinion was pretty much that he was just a Nazi. Like, that was it. And he was like not so fond of the gays is pretty much what he said. And I mean, like, he did not get a reaction out of people in the crowd. Like, they were like, people did not like that. Like, that was like weirdo behavior for like, to like, you know, most like young, like, you know, these are like people like 18, 19, 20-ish, especially in Canada. I tend to find like people in Canada are maybe a bit more liberal and shit like that. He got removed after, but he was still around when I left. And like, I was sitting with a friend who is queer. They were pretty much the exact opposite of a cishet white guy in every way. So I was like, I gotta do something if they're standing out here. And the Nazi was like causing like a fuss. And my friend was like kind of like worried or like uncomfortable with it, because they're like, you know, oh, I don't want to see things like this more often. Like, this kind of upsets me. And I said, don't worry. And I went up and punched them. And I said, your hateful views it's not us, you know? And I guess I felt like I had to do that because at the time I was, you know, male presenting, but I was dressed up as a anime woman with huge tits. Yeah, that was the costume where I got complimented. I actually got a lot of compliments that day. And I had like honestly some uncomfortable moments. I learned that year that I actually had I used to be very like insecure about how I looked in terms of like my facial structure. But then I got a lot of compliments when I was cosplaying Sonico that I was like, oh, I must actually be like more androgynous than I thought. Because some people would go up to me, make a comment, I would talk back, and they would be like, oh shit. Some weird things have happened to you, streamer. You know what it is? A lot of it, I think, comes down to the fact that I honestly, like, play way too much into it. Because I've mentioned before that when I was younger, I mean, I'm still like this. What I'm very into is I'll get weirded out by somebody, but it will be 100% non-threatening to me, and I will just be like amused and play along with it. And I feel like that's been a major contributor for like 90% of the weird things in my life. Pretty much, I like once told my therapist about it, and they once were like, basically like, have you thought about being normal? I mean, not like that. Not like that. Not like literally like that. I interpreted it directly as, you should just try being weird or not weird. I don't know. Life's fun when you just like, you just embrace the weirdness, you know? Look at me. I'm so happy. What the? Am I drugged? Oh my god, stop drugging me. Fucking senzu beans.
Streamer can run. 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 Streamer can run.